For the first time, the achievements of the Professional Negro Baseball League records are all being integrated into the Major League records. Now one integrated, unbroken lineage of excellence, as it should be. Just like this. Behind me is a painting that depicts a kind of hall of fame for the teachers who gave us transcendental meditation. An unbroken tradition of teachers to students who then became the teacher to the next generation. Just like in the West, Aristotle to Socrates, to Plato, to Aristotle. And all this was done in ashrams in India, generally with just a few students who had proven their loyalty and their worthiness to receive these techniques until Maharshi. When he began teaching transcendental meditation in India in the 1950s, he could see even then that there was a desperate need for this technique in the modern world at large. Everywhere he traveled, multiple times circling the globe, people welcomed this inward path, an effortless way to connect with their own inner self. And in 1981, consciousness-based education made its way into secondary education, where our students invested rest, where they take time to transcend twice a day. It's a formula for integrated life, inner and outer, rest and activity. We couldn't be more proud of the results of consciousness-based education as evidence of this approach's effectiveness, most especially in the lives of our graduates. Those seated before us, and also those who have gone on to explore their unique interests and fulfill their passions and potential. And I particularly want to welcome this morning all the alumni of our school. Welcome back. This certainly includes our graduation speaker this afternoon, Tihomir Liptak, who grew up in Fairview. His father, Robert, was a friend and a teacher, is a friend, a teacher here, coach, and now practices law here at Fairview. His mother, Tracy, is the Behavioral Health Operating Officer with Alumni Life Services and is a great supporter of Maharshi School for mental health services and advice. Tihomir graduated with the class of 2008. He's traveled extensively, but to our good fortune, he has made Fairview his home. He's a highly successful entrepreneur. He founded Boom Fitness, and for 12 years, faculty and staff there have been supporting approachable fitness, the health and wellness for the many participants in our area. He also founded Vote, a marketing and web agency that helps brands unlock their potential. Now with 24 employees, including, interestingly, at least 10 Maharshi School alumni. They have Fortune 500 e-commerce clients like Red Bull, Brio, Airbnb in 3 key areas: attention, capture, web experience, and data and management of measurement. And then Moonshot. This is a venture studio that amplifies purpose-driven businesses and has worked with some of the most interesting brands in the world like Airstream, Cabela's, Columbia Sportswear, GoPro, Toyota, Yeti, and that Golden Arches place. They also build in-house companies. In whatever spare time Tihomir manages to have, he enjoys building stuff, traveling, cars, biking, fitness, and helping other people be successful. And that includes, somehow, a time in Beijing training with their national weightlifting team that included 8 gold medalists. So you can see why we're so proud to have Tihomir here today as a pioneer, and excited to welcome him back to Maharshi School as our graduation speaker. Please welcome him.
Thank you, Dr. Bell, for the invitation. faculty, staff, parents, family, and friends, your support and dedication to these students often goes unspoken, but know it is greatly appreciated. I've heard a few of you have even come from as far as Vietnam. Welcome to Iowa. Class of 2024, you are almost there. The Super Six. Like that. Another 90 minutes for my speech. Just kidding. I aim to be concise but impactful. I was you. I walked across this stage in 2008. I was feeling really good. I had my life planned. I knew what was going to happen next. I had it all figured out. As some would say, it was nice to be enlightened. That experience reminds me of a joke that is wrapped in a lot of truth. Dr. Bell mentioned my father, who was a teacher here. When I was 18, the joke goes, I thought my father was an idiot. But by the time I was 23, I was blown away by how much he had learned in just 5 years. Quite rapidly, after sitting here graduating, something very strange happened. Yes, my father magically knew a lot more. I also experienced an odd and growing feeling that I perhaps did not actually know at all. Some of this likely can be attributed to the fact that I did not always practice TM twice daily. My Sanskrit certainly got rusty. And at times, I may have watered the root with some fermented beverages. The honest answer is the real world was challenging, and I had a lot to learn. My high school plan all had hard pivots. We will get into that in a moment. They ask you to speak at these because you had some outward success. I have been able to create that. But to be very real with you, it did not happen the way I planned that it would. Part of the beauty of life is that it can be a shared experience. You can learn from the triumphs and the struggles of others. I personally have strived to learn from everyone that I've come in contact with and actively seek out interesting people who have overcome challenges. From leaders of billion-dollar companies, to Olympic gold medalists, to Tour de France stage winners, to friends just trying to figure it all out, to yes, even my parents, who it did turn out, after all, knew a lot. Today, I'm going to share the top 5 things that I wish I knew sitting in your seat. Some of it may sound idiotic to you at 18. However, by the time you are 23 and beyond, I hope you say, hey, that guy maybe had a few good things to say. Parents, I have one for you as well. What I wish I knew, number 1. Test and learn. Don't plan and implement. Leaving high school, I was under the assumption that I needed the perfect plan and that I needed to go and execute that. Pick a career path, go to college, get a degree, find a job. A standard plan where if you deviate from it, you feel like a failure. That is the standard plan. However, when my company runs large advertising campaigns, our approach is to come up with a good hypothesis based on what we know today. We pick advertisements that we think are going to be effective, with the assumption that some will be successful and others will not. Then we launch into the real world, as you are about to do, and we get data. We figure out which ads are really working and where to continue to invest our time and money to deliver the maximum result. Sometimes the results are very surprising. Things we were very confident in had planned to work do not. Other things that we didn't put as much stock into end up rising to the top. We take these learnings and we quickly adjust based on the latest data that we now have. This is a very common approach in nearly all successful companies. Amazon and Jeff Bezos famously utilized the test, learn, accelerate, and scale model. They've done all right. Testing and learning identifies a winning path forward. Testing and learning also quickly highlights what does not work, which can be even more valuable to make meaningful change. Okay, so how does this apply to you? In my own life, I am a self-proclaimed nerd. I like building things. My plan was to go to school and become an engineer. The thinking was, as an engineer, I would go and build things. I actually tested that for 1 year, learned it was not my ideal path, and I left school to join a technology startup who was actively building very interesting things. It was a great experience, and I learned a lot about how to build a business, and honestly, a lot about how not to build a business. I tested that, learned, and started my first company, Boom Fitness, a local gym here in Fairfield, and I tested my new skills. Some fun ones: marketing, coaching, staffing. Some not so glamorous realities of the business world: cleaning, customer service, taxes. That led me to start my first marketing company, start a better marketing company, and then a startup incubator. My point is not my story, but the fact that I could have never planned and implemented that path. I tested a wide range of things, got my personal data points, and used that knowledge to build the next thing. As they say, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. There are exceptions, but it is highly unlikely that your plan today becomes the reality of your life. That is okay. Change is inevitable. What we have control over is how we handle it. The road is not linear, but you have an opportunity to test, learn, and continually recalibrate to create the life that you desire. It is hard, and it requires bravery. It is uncomfortable. I will be the first to say there are many days where I wish I could just curl up into a ball and disappear. However, reframing from, I need to have it all planned, and I need to implement that plan to perfection, to, I'm going to test, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to recalibrate, is not only freeing, but highly effective, both in business and your personal life. By learning number 1, test and learn. Learning number 2, embrace your time here at MSAE and in this community. It is unique and special. I grew up in Fairfield. My parents moved for the TM movement, giving up what seemed to be wonderful lives to live in small-town Iowa. My dad was a successful football player, turned Wall Street lawyer, turned Sanskrit and SCI teacher at McCarthy School. My mother is professionally brilliant and gave up that career to be a stay-at-home mom. Being immersed in meditation, this MSc education, this community and small town, without the contrast of the real world, I certainly had some feelings on it. The grass being greener, missing out on something. I've come to recognize that my upbringing is my greatest strength. I and each of you are equipped with a very special toolkit to see things for the way that they are, to remain centered and rooted in yourself. It is special. I started to really recognize it in 2 primary ways. First, amazing people my age started showing up in Fairfield in their test and learn process. They had great world experience, and yet they were coming looking for what we had all along. 2, peers I grew up with went out into the real world and started doing really amazing things. It was eye-opening for me. I began to see common stories again and again in the peer group, instead of, no offense, in the parent group. There must be something in the water here. If you embrace your upbringing and MSc education, I feel that you will have a toolkit that will serve you well in your personal life and any business endeavors you take on. Today, I proudly share this part of myself with the world. Most individuals deeply resonate with it, and it helps build a meaningful relationship. Those that don't, it's a great barometer for who you do not want in your life. You do not need to please everyone. You do have a superpower if you choose to use it. My learning number 2, embrace your MSc education and your time in this community. Learning number 3, send it. Life is short. I remember graduating and feeling this infinite horizon for my life. People told me, life is short, time is going to fly. You shrug it off until one day you realize they were right about that too. Don't delay happiness. For example, you could take a 2-day trip to a castle in Ireland for a New Year's party. Build your dream house on a hill overlooking a forest preserve in that small town in Iowa. Decide engineering isn't for you, and leave college after a year to go build things elsewhere. Start a business and then maybe a few more. Go train weightlifting in China with the Olympic gold medalists. Get married to someone way out of your league. Be bold in asking for opportunities. Build a race car. Make the really hard choices because you believe in yourself. You could even try giving commencement speaking a whirl. Your path will be very different from mine. But my point is every single one of those things I strongly considered not doing. My life would be very different. To quote Jim Carrey in the 2014 MIU commencement speech, that likely will end up with more YouTube views than mine today. Just being honest. You can die doing what you hate. So live doing what you love. Smart guy. Learning number 3, send it. Learning number 4, measure what matters. I'm a big data guy, and in general believe that what you measure changes. You can go through life aimless, trying to be everything, or you can go through the exercise of determining what actually matters to you. This is no trivial task, especially at 18, and you have a long, long road of testing and learning ahead of you. However, when you look back on life, what will you say is a life well lived? Is it 100 million in the bank? It could be. Is it your high school test scores? Probably not. Is it the number of TikTok followers you have? I really hope not. Maybe it's the number of people whose lives you have positively impacted. MSc, faculty, and staff, thank you. You get to set the target. You are the judge. But I strongly encourage you to think about it. The world will find infinite ways to distract you. Defining what really matters gives you purpose. Mine are 1, quality time with my family. 2, giving to our community and world. 3, building a team at my company and helping them achieve their dreams. And 4, helping meaningful businesses be successful through our work. To be honest, I'm still trying to figure it out through my own test and learn process. Class of 2024, the next time I see you, I will ask you what yours is. Learning number 4, measure what matters. Learning number 5, the very important one. Leave parties while you are still having fun. I don't know why I did not learn this sooner. And my wife still reminds me that I forget. So you'll be out. You'll be having a great time. The vibe is good. You're enjoying your friends' company. You're in a good space. You're having the most fun ever. Then you get a little bit greedy. You want a bit more. Maybe saying goodbye feels awkward. You think about pushing it. You can borrow some happiness from tomorrow. What does that really matter? Oh, it matters. Take the win. Get out of there. will all respect you much more. This learning has broad applications beyond parties. Knowing when to exit is arguably more important than your entrance. Learning number 5, leave parties while you are still having fun. Finally, parents, as I said, I have one for you. You're free. The trip booked. Bags packed. Remember, you'll probably need a bunch of money. They may still need a place to live. They probably need health insurance. But congratulations. Fortunately, with all the advice that I just gave them, they're going to make great decisions. However, they're likely going to make some decisions that you disagree with. I saw a few faces of panic when I mentioned that I left college after 1 year. Don't worry, my sister, who is present, just became a doctor, so we have our years in university as a family covered. Very proud. I'm grateful to my parents for doing what they could to set me up for success, continually supporting but accepting of my decisions. Sometimes there are the inevitable "I told you so" moments, but mostly their parenting and support enabled me to test and learn and take the path less traveled with some fabulous outcomes. Remember, parents, they now have their 5 learnings of making great decisions. They're going to test and learn. They're going to embrace their MSc education and time in this community. They're going to send it. They're going to measure what matters, and they all know how to properly exit the party. I saw them all very diligently paying attention, so we should be good to go. Parents, please know that your support and sacrifices are truly appreciated. Class of 2024, go forth and send it. I look forward to seeing how each of you progresses in the world. Congratulations.